Politics don't really matter. And what I mean by that is like the policies you like or don't like. It's not very relevant in determining in this day and age whether you're left, right, up, down, whatever. Nothing seems to make sense. And I've pointed this before. I'm going to defend Fox News. It's not because I agree with their political policy opinions. It's because they are being smeared by a leftist fake news outlet, Media Matters, and it's so easily verifiably false what these people are saying. Now, it's true that Fox News has conservative pundits, probably why they're doing it, because it's for a political agenda, but it's such surface level BS. Like, I guess their thinking is, instead of arguing against why their ideas are bad, I'll just argue that they are bad, and then no one will hear their ideas, which to me is kind of evil, but it's literally what they do. Right now, Greg Gutfeld, according to the Daily Caller, is considering suing Media Matters employee over the 5 coronavirus coverage claim. I would go a bit further and say he hinted at taking some kind of legal action. It's not just so much he's considering it. Someone tweeted to him like, hey, here's a lawyer. And he said, I'm on it. Something like that. I'll show you. But it seems like, he's considering or he's hinting at actually suing these people. It's about time. I don't care if you're conservative or liberal. That's the point I'm bringing up. If you like universal health care, that doesn't change the fact of whether or not you think the media is lying. You can absolutely support Medicare for all and still agree that the media is smearing Fox News and they're not playing fair. It's bad faith. And I'm going to break it down for you because it's kind of funny. But let's just jump in. Let's read the story from the Daily Caller. They say, Fox News' Greg Gutfeld is considering taking legal action against a Media Matters employee who accused him of lying about when the 5 began to take the novel coronavirus threat seriously. The Twitter feud began March 31st after the left-wing activist group's deputy director of rapid response, Andrew Lawrence, posted a clip of Greg Gutfeld talking about the virus on the 5 Tuesday. I wonder when the 5 sounded the alarm on the virus back in January. What was Chuck's concern? Gutfeld said in the clip. Lawrence tweeted that Greg Gutfeld says Fox's The 5 sounded the alarm on coronavirus back in January, but he's lying, and promptly sparked a feud with the Fox News host. After numerous back and forths with Lawrence, commentator Dave Rubin chimed in and suggested Gutfeld hire lawyer Harmeet K. Dillon. Suggested Gutfeld get lawyer Harmeet K. Dillon involved. Just did, Gutfeld replied, which implies, I don't want to say he's considering anything. He's literally moving forward with some kind of legal action, whether it's a suit or whatever. The decision to consider legal action came after Gutfeld told Lawrence numerous times to retract his claim and admit he lied. Gutfeld even referred Lawrence to a pinned tweet that shows a clip of the 5 talking about the virus back in January. The January 28th segment that Gutfeld tweeted shows the 5 talking about coronavirus and how important it is to take certain steps to slow the spread, such as issuing a travel ban on China. It's coming here unless you stop it, Gutfeld said on January 28th. So I do think we should consider a temporary travel ban on China. He even criticized the Trump administration. I kid you not. Gutfeld said the administration is not doing a very good job on this. Lawrence so far refused to retract his comment and apologize, doubling down on his original claim. Media Matters employee even furthered his claims by accusing the 5 and Fox News' coverage of the virus of being dangerous enough to get people killed. The way your show and your network covered this from the beginning are going to get people killed, Lawrence said in one of the many tweets. It's just absurd. And then he responded, so here's what he said. A Fox News host, I'll show you the actual tweet. So this is Angelo Corazon, who I guess is one of the founders of Media Matters. For those that aren't familiar, Media Matters is specifically designed to smear and lie about the right. Now, I could just go by what they claim they do, but that would not be fair. Media Matters claims they're trying to counter conservative misinformation, which makes very little sense because they pump out misinformation all day and night. It would seem that their real mission is just to screech conservative bad all day and night, regardless of whether or not they're saying truths or lies or whatever. In response to this, Angelo Corazon said, a Fox News host threatening to sue Media Matters for, wait for it, criticizing Fox's coronavirus coverage, says his show always took it seriously, the show did not always take it seriously, and that Media Matters for America is slandering. Imagine being so foxed up to assert Fox always took it seriously. You know what, Angelo? That's a great point. How could, the people who watch Fox News are clearly delusional to even think that Fox was taking it seriously. They must have been, watching Fox News when you were criticizing them for taking it too seriously. So let's get real. He's claiming Fox News didn't take it seriously, but Media Matters for America themselves accused Fox of fear-mongering January 27th. Media Matters is not a good faith organization. That's why I take specific. I'm not happy with NewsGuard, to say the least. NewsGuard is the third-party service I use. They verify and certify other organizations and tell you what you can and can't expect from them. And they give Media Matters a green check mark. You kidding me? Look at this stuff. I don't know what you'd label this as. Check it out. The NewsGuard people say they get a 70 out of 100 in a score because they don't publish false content. They do gather information responsibly. No, they don't. They do not correct. They handle the difference between news and opinion responsibly and avoid deceptive headlines. Those are some great technicalities. The reason that this organization, NewsGuard, thinks they handle the difference between news and opinion responsibly is because they assert their goal is to counter, conservative misinformation. And because that's all they do, they're not a news outlet. I humbly disagree. And this is why, as much as I will use NewsGuard, because they're not that bad, I'm not going to give them good marks for the most part. Media Matters does not present information responsibly. They do use deceptive headlines. And you have to look into the full context of what Media Matters is. Fox News fearmongers about coronavirus with dubiously sourced viral video. And Fox described the video as a Chinese nurse blowing the whistle on a higher than reported infection rate. The unverified video comes from an account known for pushing unsourced information in breaking news environments. What does unsourced mean? You see how they use weasel words? The New York Times just says they have a source, and then the media just says it's true. Okay, I have a source right now who told me that, the president just did a backflip. What source? Who? It's a homeless guy in the alley. You see how it works? You can't just say you have a source. Fox News showed a video, January 27th, pointing this out. Look at this right here. On January 27th, Fox News' Fox and Friends ran 2 segments promoting what the network called a Chinese nurse blowing the whistle on Twitter and claimed the coronavirus infection rate is 33 times higher than what Chinese officials are reporting. Co-host Brian Kilmeade, in an interview with Dr. Oz, said the outbreak is happening in this secretive society where candor is secondary, and we're seeing clues that this is so much worse. Who was downplaying the coronavirus early on? So we'll see if Greg Gutfeld actually files a lawsuit. He has since responded, saying this. Let me read this one first. 17 segments refute this lie. Your employee lied about what I said on the 5, and your backpedaling and goalpost moving reveals that. Do the right thing, not the ideological thing. Angelo, you know I was concerned and made it clear. You know that in your heart. Last note to Angelo. I am not trying to get you fired or ruin you. Media Matters' goal has always been that for me, but I won't do that to you. I think you're wrong. You think I'm evil. You can change that here and now. All I ask is you do the human thing, admit a wrong. You will feel better about it. Of course, the guy won't. When I posted a tweet pointing out that on January 27th, the criticism from Media Matters was that they were fear-mongering, and that today, Media Matters is claiming they were downplaying it from the beginning, this guy actually started tweeting insults at me. Okay, dude. As I said, is that it? Okay, I'm done. Like, if you're going to come at me and just call me names, here's what he said. He was like, you got a lot of formers in your Twitter bio there, buddy. Okay, is that it? I wouldn't care if you called me a bunch of names. You called me a grifter. I don't care. You literally didn't say anything about what I said. I'm fine if you insult me, dude. I don't care if people go on and call me names. I made a point. He said, I put LOL and I showed the 2 stories, his tweet and the story. And then he said something like, he said, hi, stupid. Both things can be true. And I said, you're the same thing as Fox News. That's why it's funny. Now, it's fair to point out I was being a bit facetious or hyperbolic. Fox News opinion people, not a big fan of. I mean, Tucker Carlson's pretty good. The rest of the lineup, I'm not a big fan of. But they have decent news reporting. Brett Baier, for instance, I think he's the best anchor on TV when it comes to straight-laced news reporting, and I mean that. So Fox News as a news organization actually does news. Media Matters doesn't. They just pump out fake nonsense to smear people and make them look wrong. And you know what? You then get these liberals looking for confirmation bias, and that's their go-to source. These organizations that claim to be fact-checking, so no. But anyway, his response to me then was, you got a lot of formers in your bio there. And I'm just like, I don't get it. Okay. He could literally call me like the worst name in the book. And I'd just be like, I don't get it. Are you going to have an argument about how you're wrong? Or do you just throw a temper tantrum and insult people? I don't see the point in doing that. You didn't prove anything. You just got mad and then pouted and yelled on Twitter. That's fine if you want to do that. I don't care. It in no way affects me or my life. So congratulations. But I would like to do one more thing. So Greg may sue them. I really, really hope he does. I cannot stand the liars and the deception, the fake news people. Media Matters exists, in my opinion, specifically so that when liberals need to justify why they're right, they have a fake source backing them up, and NewsGuard verifies it. Then they can be like, see, this story proves that Fox News never took it seriously. Look at the same website in January. They were attacking them for saying too much about the coronavirus. So we all know, Greg Gutfeld has a pinned tweet where he says, it's from January 28th, where he's like, we got to take this seriously. The administration isn't doing enough on this one. And they won't admit it. Yeah, I think you got a clear case for slander and libel. And I hope he does sue. But while the New York Times and all these outlets are wagging the finger at Fox News saying, you downplayed this, and pulling select clips to make Hannity and Laura Ingraham look bad and Trish Reagan, the reality is they all did it. So, glass houses and stones, man. Pot calling the kettle black. Check out this story from Huffington Post. Don't listen to Senator Tom Cotton about coronavirus. The GOP senator has spread misinformation and panic in a weeks-long meltdown over the disease. January 31st. You know why the Huffington Post said this? Because Tom Cotton, who was right, said we needed a lockdown. We needed to get our people out of China. We need to suspend travel. Trump ended up doing it. And because, as we know, the orange man is bad, well, you end up getting this. Huffington Post pushing back on what we now know to be a horrible, horrible article. We know how serious it is. Tom Cotton was completely right. Now they try and claim Tom Cotton's pushing conspiracy theories about a bioweapon. No, he wasn't. He said we don't know the origins, and any intelligent person would recognize that there's a level 4 biolab in Wuhan. It doesn't mean it came from there. It doesn't mean it's likely it came from there. It's more likely and most likely that this is a naturally occurring coronavirus. We've seen it happen before. Yet the media only highlights the fact that he mentioned it existed and then try and make it seem like he's fear-mongering. Because the orange man is bad, because conservatives are bad, leftist digital outlets are selling you out just to complain about conservatives. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not a big fan of a lot of the Fox pundits. I do think Tucker Carlson's one of the best pundits on TV, for sure. He was right about this. February, I think, 3rd. He personally, he does a show. He personally flies down and talks to Trump and gets him to take this more seriously. Tucker very well may have saved this country and saved hundreds of thousands of lives. That's serious. Here's what they say. Senator Tom Cotton has been on an absolute tear about coronavirus, calling for all Americans in China to get out now, demanding the U.S. implement an extensive travel ban targeting China, proposing a Manhattan Project level effort to create a vaccine, a reference to the undertaking that produced the atomic bomb. Could you imagine if on January 31st, we did have a Manhattan Project level vaccination program for coronavirus? We might not be locked down. Could you imagine if the Americans we had to evacuate from China got out when Tom Cotton warned them to get out? Could you imagine what would have happened then? Those people would have not been stuck in China. Well, some of them got evacuated. Many people ended up getting stuck in China. And if only they heeded the warnings of Tom Cotton. You know what he was saying? The CDC had warned people to get out of China, but there was no harsh restrictions. He said, I believe this was him, if you're going to say Americans should leave, we should not allow other people from China to be coming here unless they're our citizens, right? We're evacuating them. Axios pointed out the State Department had authorized evacuations from China. We knew it was coming. Fox News and Republicans did sound the alarm well before the left did. And the left likes to erase the past because they're not seriously trying to inform you. But now we can see how the media truly operates. You've got these hit pieces smearing Fox News, accusing them of all the worst things in the book, saying they downplayed it when there was back and forth. Everybody downplayed it. Some people didn't. Some people did. Take a look at this one from the DC Examiner. No, liberal media outlets don't have a good reason for ignoring Joe Biden's accuser. Amazing. Apparently, there was a leftist digital website. Writing for Salon, left-wing journalist Amanda Marcotte tried to pull a blindfold over her audience's eyes with an article attempting to explain away this double standard. Why is it that the mainstream media won't report on the credible accusation against Joe Biden? It's not about policy. It's not about liking Biden or hating Biden. It's not about liberal conservative. It's about the media and the Democrats lying. We can talk about policy, and I'm likely to agree with some of the things espoused by some of the more moderate Democrats, but they're all liars. Joe Biden was credibly accused by a woman. What happened? The media didn't run the story. Like major media outlets ignored it. And so what happens is Salon then says, but we must be protective of the accusers and the accused. Oh, please, dude. No one's buying it. Joe Biden was accused of something. Personally, I don't like people digging up 30-year history to like try and smear somebody. And so it would make sense not to do the story on anyone. But they love to do it on Trump. They love to do it on Brett Kavanaugh. You see how this all flows in one direction. The media is a dirty, dirty game. It's politics. There are some good journalists, typically local journalists, but these major outlets, the Washington Post, New York Times, are absolutely being weaponized against conservatives. It's easier to shut them down instead of arguing the ideas, I guess. And it makes me wonder about the veracity of the ideas. Is it possible that many of these news organizations, these leftists, these Democrats know they're wrong? They know they couldn't win an argument if they tried, so they have to lie and defame the arguer instead of the actual idea? Makes sense to me. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 4 p.m. youtube.com/Timcast. It's a different channel, and I will see you all then.